So I still don't have my car fixed. I exasperated the issue by not handling it, and now I have shit that I need to take care of, and the car isn't running. So that's always nice and fun. Good things though, moving in the right direction. I got to go take a drug test, so not a bad thing. But yes, so that means broke boy, broke boy sessions are almost over with. So, anyways, but yes, I had to walk up here today. Wasn't bad. Made sure I got my miles in or my steps in. Your steps, you get your steps in, and carrying what over 20 pounds worth of hammers. What's 16 plus 14? 28. No, my math's bad. 30. Wow, 30 pounds. So, carrying around 30 pounds worth of hammers also probably doesn't hurt you. Probably shouldn't do that all the time, but hey, gotta do what I gotta do. I'm done with the I'm done with the fucking I'm done. I gave myself excuses for like 3 days, 4 days maybe, why I didn't practice after I put a really, really good week. Strung a really, really good. And that's kind of been the story of my training. Good, consistent training, recovery, and nutrition, and then hit by a bus or metaphorically, or just stopping what's in work in progress. So I don't know why I've done that. The self sabotage, something very, very legitimate. I hate to say it. I hate to tell you, but it has been a very, very legitimate thing. So I'm trying to get rid of that, no more of that, because I can make it happen. But it's just a matter of me being consistent, a little bit more consistent than I have. And it's not that I don't train or I don't want to train. I let shit that's not supposed to be the shit that's distract me, and I got to do better about that. It's been a process. So, anyways, got some throwing done. Today, what was weird? So I skipped the drills. I did the PTSD with the 7.26 and the 14, which I think was sort of helpful. I think I probably need to do some drills. I would have liked to get some done, but it was a timing thing. And yes, so anyways, did those, got some throwing done. The no lines felt a lot better than they normally did. I'm still so iffy about this. This is like the least favorite part of my practice every day. And I sat there and like think about it. I'm like, this is the least favorite time. Maybe it'll click one day. And maybe I won't hate doing this drill. Maybe. Just maybe. But I don't know. And I think that my thinking about this is that it has something to do with, and I kind of need to stick it out, because this is kind of, I need to see where it's going to lead me. But I just believe that I'm trying to understand the concept of throwing. That's somebody else's concept. Whereas I need to make something my own here. I need to replace this with something of my own that helps me have a better understanding and better movement with the ball. But for the time being, I'm trying my best not to be hard headed. I'm trying to just stick it out and ride. But it's hard for me, being the nigger near that I am. So, but yes, the problem is, my biggest issue with this, and I think I might have brought this up before, is that the ball stays flat. And then I can't figure out where to accelerate and when not to accelerate. And when I don't accelerate, the ball never gets any lift on it. So, kind of frustrating. Kind of frustrating. I think that it is helpful somewhat. It kind of slows you down, give you a decent little cadence. But yes, the timing thing is definitely an issue for me. Always has been an issue for me. So we're gonna have to figure that out slowly but surely. Until I figure something else out that I think would be helpful, I'm probably gonna stick to those. I liked doing the uh, I like doing the you kind of like spin in a circle, and then you kind of start the ball, and then you go. It's kind of hard to explain, and it's kind of hard to do, completely honest, but it's doable. I've seen people do it. I was able to do it, but that was from a different practice. But got some full throws in. Uh, I don't know how I feel about this, to be completely honest. There's some good. There's bad, but I mean, I feel myself off balance sometimes, and I feel myself leaving. The biggest thing that I feel, and I feel this very, very, I felt this on a couple of my throws, is me leaving on the entry before the left side not staying tight, and me wanting to lead before it's time for me to lead. And I thought about this. I said, you're working with the ball. You want the ball to do the work, and then you do some work. But you want the ball to lead you in on that entry. You don't want to be leading the ball in per se, or at least that's the way I want to try to conceptualize it, is that that ball's supposed to be leading you in, and you're supposed to be pushing it just ever so slightly. And then once you're back at zero, you sort of start the process over again. You let the ball do the work, and then you do some work over and over again till you release it. So, old bad habit, I think. Maybe just trying too hard a little bit too, but that base needs to stay at zero for as long as, I mean, the entry, until the entry comes through nice and fluidly. Then I don't need to be trying to leave there on one. Let my left side hang and direct me before it's time. Not necessarily a little bit of an inefficient throw, an inefficient movement. And something else that I also felt while I was doing this is that the up and down, and I've talked about this before, is that the up and down feeling, and especially on one, I feel like I'm a little bit too high up, and then I'm wasting some energy oscillating between like the sinusoid and the cosine goes from 0 to 1 on the y-axis. Like, I'm wasting too much energy bouncing through that, instead of there being some sort of a little bit more of a linear progression, which is probably a little bit more effective when we talk about the hammer throw, or maybe an exponential curve progression. But I've noticed that I do that occasionally while I sit back and watch these two as well. I don't know what I'm going to have to do to keep that, because I've also done it correctly. I've done it correctly a lot of times too, but there's a couple of these I was looking at that, and I said, that is puzzling. That is very, very puzzling. So a little issue I'm going to have to clean up, but not the worst of things. I would like to see the distance. I always say that, but I got to keep from stroking the ego, which I did a pretty decent job of today. So, got some weight room, did a little bit of lifting. Also ran some sprints after this. They were short sprints too. I believe I'm going to have to be a little bit more consistent about the cardio. I think the cardio helps a lot. I do think the cardio helps a lot, but you kind of gotta be, well, I think that it helps me specifically. I think that it's kind of how I've been wired, and I think that it's kind of how I've trained up till now, with my good sessions, and even me and Wes used to play basketball before we went through. So there's something to be, I've said this before, guys. I mean, I just can't like it too much, because I got to figure out what auxiliary movements and what movements I can be doing that are going to help me work with the ball better, and that's one of the bigger kickers there. So did some muscle snatches. This was 5 sets of 10. Kind of a fucking grinder. To be completely honest. Wasn't impossible. I got through it, but I was going to combo this with something else, and I'm glad that I didn't, because I can't. The only reason I get frustrated with this is that I can't just drop it when I get tired. I have to be cognizant about those weights dropping. So the bottom line is, when you're comboing things together, your fatigue deals out, and then you have to figure out a way to manage on without hurting yourself, because that's the risk and injury is higher when you're doing some of these CrossFit. And this wasn't necessarily just a CrossFit. This is just because I don't have a fucking rack, and I was kind of just freewheeling it. So trying to keep the equipment decent and try to maintain some type of training. Easier said than done, but I made it work. I believe that I made it work. So I guess it we'll see when I show up how I feel tomorrow. So that's something that I'm gonna have to work out. But that's all I got, guys. You already know what the deal is. Run on your toes, keep your mouth closed, lock your doors, and save your throats. And most importantly, live to fight another day. I'm gonna get out of here, guys.